Hi, my name is Donna and this is Sprinkles, my lovebird. Say hello. Isn't he pretty? Well, today's video I wanted to talk about, should you cover your bird's cage at night? The Borks are still walking around. Good night, everybody. Good night. Everything's gonna be dark up here. And we go downstairs. Good night, Electra. Good night. Kingsley, time for bed. You have a good night's sleep, okay? There we go. Good night. Give me a kiss, Marbles. Did you hear that? Marbles said, give me a kiss. Yeah, you don't want to go to bed, I know. Marbles protests. So covering your bird's cage at night is an individual preference or depends on your bird. It depends on where your bird's cage is and your living situation. And hi, sweetie pie. He's so beautiful. And so I just want to let you know, I do cover my birds. It doesn't mean you have to, but I'll tell you why I cover my birds' cages, because I have a bird room. If you haven't seen it, go check out my videos. You'll see my bird room. Most of my parakeets are in there. Now my bird room has a sliding door to my outside backyard. I have a deck in my, where my dogs go. I got 3 dogs and they need to go in and out to go to the washroom, especially before bedtime. So I do use that room. If I didn't use that room, I might not cover them, but I don't know. I've tried to not cover them once, but they get freaked out by seeing the dogs walking back and forth and us as well. So I let my dogs out. I cover them so that they can't see the activity and they sleep much better. We're very quiet when we go out there. We don't make a lot of noise. And they sleeping well. I remember one time I didn't cover them. I thought, I'm not going to cover them, see what happens. Well, they all had night fright because they saw us, they saw the dogs, and they just saw maybe lights or something like that coming in. And I don't know if you're aware, but cockatiels especially have what's called night fright. If they see something, they're terrified. They have night fright. What it means they just flop around the cage. They try to get away. Right? In the wild, if they were loose, they would fly, not get hurt. So in a cage, they can't see where the end of the cage is. They hit the walls, they hurt themselves, they bleed. You might see blood, and they might break a feather. If there's blood in the feather, they might break that and bleed. So it's not really a pretty sight. But what I do is I put a night light in there, especially for my cockatiels, because so they can see a little bit. You don't want them in like total darkness, but some birds might like it, but especially cockatiels. You have to be careful with cockatiels. Put a night light there so they can kind of see, like twilight seeing, and it'll be better off for them. My other birds don't really have night fright. The only time they've had night fright is when my cockatiels have night fright. It sets off all my other birds. My budgies all flop around, my Borks, my Linnies, my lovebird, they all start flopping around. It's not very nice to see, right? And nice to, hear them. It sounds like thunder when they're all banging around. But anyway, so I do cover my birds. I cover my birds in my living room as well, because they're close to my kitchen, and if we turn our light on, the light goes in their cages and they wake up and they start saying, hey, hello, good morning, or whatever. So anyways, I cover them up so they can get their sleep, and we tippy-toe. I try not to turn on, the light if I don't have to. I use the fridge light to get what I need or do it. I use a small light, like not so bright, and so they can sleep. So it really depends on your house, how big it is, and where your bird's cage is as well. If you've got your bird's cage near, like say a window, across a window, there's cars going by, there's going to be noise, and there's going to be lights of the cars on the walls. They might see that and freak out. And if you have pets, like small pets like cats that walk by their cages, or they can see them, they don't know it's your cat because it's dark, all they see is shadows. They might flip out. So you might want to cover your cage. So you have to be careful what kind of material you use as well. It's best to use breathable material like cotton, or those custom-made bird cages that are breathable. And you can use different colors. Some birds prefer to have dark colors. Some birds have, like the light colors. I use light blue for my covers. And I don't cover the cage fully, because you want your bird to breathe, because it could cause respiratory problems if your bird is stuck in a cage all covered up and they can't breathe, especially like a cockatiel, because they're dusty cockatoo. Canaries get respiratory problems, so do budgies. So you want to make sure, actually, if you cover your cages, the best thing to do is to change their paper, the bottom of the cage. because you really don't want to cover the cage up when they're sleeping, breathing in all their own feces. Can you imagine if you have to sleep in a room where someone went to the washroom on the floor and you're breathing that in all night? Yeah, it's not a pretty picture, but you can kind of figure that out now for a bird. You know, they poop like, what, 100 times a day or more. So if you keep that clean and you cover them, it's a little bit better. And, you know, if your bird is prone to respiratory problems, that might be the issue. If you're covering them, you're not cleaning the cage. Wow! He's very active today. Come on, Sprinkles. Come to Mommy. Come on. He'll be back. And yeah, so I just want to talk about that. Let me know if you cover your bird's cage. I'll put a card up here. You can just say yes or no. And let me know down in the comments if you cover your bird's cage or not, and why you don't or why you do. Because each bird is different. Some birds might not like to be covered. Some birds might love it. But you do have to be careful if you have a hormonal bird, because if you cover the cage, they might see it as a nest and get very hormonal. They might get aggressive to bite you because they're protecting their cage and it's covered. They're like, yay, it's a nest. So what I do is I cover my birds' cages. I leave the light on for like 5 minutes so they can get settled into their perch, their favorite perch, their roosting perch. And then I turn off the light, so it doesn't really give them a chance to get all excited and say, ooh, it's a nest, right? And you want to make sure you uncover your bird in the morning at a timely manner. You don't want to be covering them all day if you sleep all day long. That's not a good thing either. And one thing I want to mention is try not to use the covers as a punishment for your bird for screaming. I've seen on some Facebook bird groups, people asking, how can I get my bird to stop screaming? What do people say? Cover the cage, right? That's not nice. You can cover your cage all day and they won't scream, but they might if they're all day covered up. But try not to use it as a punishment. That's not good. Your bird's screaming for a reason. You got to figure out why and help it out. Maybe it's hungry, maybe it's thirsty, maybe it wants out, maybe it needs some enrichment. You know, maybe it's just singing away. But that's what birds do. So just use the cover to make them sleep, and they should get 8 to 12 hours of solid sleep. And if you're in a room where your bird can't sleep, where you're watching TV, you're making noise, you can put them in a sleep cage and put them in a dark room like your bedroom so it can sleep in there. You really don't want to disturb your bird, because I know some people cover the birds' cages and they're watching TV, talking on the phone, you know, whatever, talking to each other. The bird's probably not sleeping very well. So birds really need to get their sleep just like us. Otherwise they'll be grumpy. They might lash out and bite you because they didn't get sleep, or they're going to sleep all day. And, you know, they won't be happy. It can make them sick, just like us people makes us sick if we can't get our sleep. So make sure your bird gets a lot of sleep. So it depends on where your bird's cage is located and your bird and your lifestyle as well. So you want to decide if your bird needs to be covered or not. Yeah, just do your research and figure that out. Just because I cover mine doesn't mean you have to. And, you know, figure out the material as well. You want the bird to breathe. You want it to not cover all of it. Pull your bird's cage out from the wall if it's near a wall so it can breathe back there. I cover just the front and the sides. I leave the back open. And sometimes I'll leave a little bit open on the sides. They're just like, not really in the front because I don't want them to see my dogs, but maybe the sides, like a little opening so they can breathe, because you want airflow. You want airflow. But if your bird is prone to respiratory problems, if your bird is sick, like right now, it can't breathe, the tail's bobbing, it's gasping, or, you know, you can tell, right? Don't cover the cage because it's not going to help, right? You want airflow in the cage if your bird has a respiratory problem, or if it gets a respiratory problem. Don't cover the cage, or you can just maybe cover the front, leave the sides open. You want airflow if your bird can't breathe. Because sometimes I know what it's like if I'm in my room, my dogs sleep with me. If our door gets accidentally shut because I sleep with it open, it gets really hot and muggy in there because all my dogs are breathing, and me, my husband, my nose starts to get stuffy, and sometimes I cough because it's not comfortable, right? You need clean air. You need clean, fresh air to breathe and to sleep with. And I don't know if I mentioned everything, but I think I covered everything. If not, put your comments down below, and yeah, let's talk about if you cover your bird's cage at night and why, or what you think about the situation. So anyways, hope you enjoyed my video and learned something, and you can figure it out for yourself. So make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And check out my channel while you're at it. You can see all my birds in my bird room and everything else. So I will see you in the next video. I don't know where Sprinkles went. Sprinkles, come! He's gone. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye!